Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here. And I just want to drop a little bit of information on people who may not understand and see the big picture on certain things and have a historical context around certain things. What I want to talk about is particularly how imperialism occurs and how it starts and how it has transformed over the centuries, actually, the millennials, really. You can look at it. Before, when you're talking about it again, and I've done these videos once, but I'm redoing topics because I know that people who are new to the channel, who just started subscribing, are not going back in the archives and checking out my previous stuff. So I'm kind of regurgitating some things here. And also, y'all need to stop looking at the date and stuff and look at the other stuff that I'm dropping. I notice the numbers are high on when I start bashing. I'm getting frustrated with women, but when I start dropping particular knowledge, y'all don't want to hear it. But you need to hear it. Here's the deal. When you look back at like the Khan dynasty, when you look at Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, when you look at the Zulu Empire, going back to Shaka, when you look at the Roman Empire, all of those empires, particularly what they did is because human beings, it's just in the human nature, it's in human beings' nature to never be satisfied with what you're given, right? Think about it. Think about it. You look at a human being. Human being is over in Europe, and I'm just looking at Europe for example, because I think most of us can understand the history of what happened with European colonization. Human beings over in Europe got enough land. You got your own ocean, you got your own beaches and everything over there. And Christopher Columbus wasn't even satisfied. I need to find out what's on the other side of this ocean. He goes, finds what's on the other side of the ocean, lands in America, lands on the East Coast, right? Lands in, what, down in Virginia, somewhere, I don't know. Lands in on the East Coast in Virginia somewhere. Start your own little settlement. Tells the indigenous Americans, oh, we just going to take just this little plot right here and just plant some stuff and we going to be out of y'all way. And then about a couple of months later, I'm tired of being in this location. I need to spread out, see what else is around. And pretty soon, next thing you know, you done went from Europe to the East Coast of America all the way to the West Coast of America. That's the way things work. When you look at countries back, like I said, with the Khan dynasty, the Zulu dynasty, the Roman dynasty, the Roman Empire spanned all the way from Rome to ultimately Egypt when they conquered Egypt. Took over a black nation, and yes, Egypt was black. Go look at the Greek philosophers. Go look at their writings. Egyptians was a black society. Conquered all the way, spread all the way to Egypt. The way dynasty spread, and you look at the Zulu Empire, all of those empires was spread through war. That's the way they spread their empire, through war. Fighting and overtaking other nations. And then absorbing those other nations into their culture and into their kingdom. Today, America and other nations can't do that because society is quote unquote, and I'm saying quote unquote, more civilized than fighting wars to take over land. Because then you're just going to look petty, right? You're going to look real petty if you just wake up tomorrow and say, we want Cuba. And we just going to go down and fight Cuba just because we want their island. We're going to take over Mexico just because we want the whole continent. You would look real foolish and evil to do so. So since societies are more civilized today, imperialism doesn't spread the way that it used to spread through war and violence. The way that it spreads now is through cultural diplomacy. Cultural propagation. So that's exactly what you see the United States doing. So for example, when you look at, and I'm going to give this example first and then I'll go on to another example. When you look at the NFL, look at the NFL and what the NFL is doing. The NFL has been playing for decades, since the 30s. Now all of a sudden the NFL is like, we need more subscribers. We need more consumers. What do we need to do now? Now they have American teams playing over in Europe, and now they're about to be playing over in Germany. They're about to have a game over in Germany. They're trying to spread the culture of American football to other continents. And pretty soon they're going to be playing in Asian countries, and they're going to be playing in African countries. You look at the NBA. They now have an Africa League. They do. They have an African League. These businesses are like, we need to spread and consume and get more people into our universe, into the NFL universe, into the NBA universe. So when you look at America, America has done the same thing. America's built on capitalism. And in order for the capitalism system to keep going, you need to keep growing. So it's like, okay, well, we have enough. You can't just invent tools like Microsoft. Think about it. Microsoft, Apple, and all of them have built their products. They didn't build their products just to stay in America. They're trying to go, okay, well, we need to have a presence in Europe. We need to have a presence in Africa. We need to have a presence in Asia. But what do they say when Huawei tries to come to America? No, we can't have that. We can't, because you got spy technology. Now all of a sudden, it's the Chinese are trying to be so corrupt and evil and trying to spy on Americans. Like America isn't doing the same thing with the products they're shipping over to these other countries. It doesn't even make sense. But you'll prohibit other people from bringing their technology into your country because you don't want it to compete with your ecosystem. You don't want it to compete with Apple dollars, which you're going to ultimately tax, which you're going to ultimately make money off of. That's the whole purpose too. If people think that a part of the big part of the war of going into Iraq was for the poppies, and for the oil, and that is true. That is true. That was an agenda. That was a part of the agenda to go get the opium fields and get the oil fields. I believe that to be true. So let me say I don't know that definitively, but I strongly believe that. But another thing was it was really about spreading American cultures and values and plugging in American businesses in order to help them spread. What did you think? Like, if y'all don't, people probably don't even know this, but there were so many contractors who went over to Iraq when the Iraq War was fought. There were so many contractors, and I'm not talking about like just defense-related contractors. These were contractors that were plugged in to help rebuild the country. I'm talking about people in the finance industry, people in just the logistics industry, people in infrastructure. It was American businesses that were plugged in over there to help rebuild that. And what they're trying to do is just, because what people fail to realize is that when you're dealing with the Middle East, their culture is heavily based on Islam, whether it's going to be Sunni or Shia. Their culture is heavily based on kind of keeping American and Western influence out. And what America was trying to do was basically say, we need to inject American culture in there. Let's inject some Coca-Cola. Let's inject our values into that part of the world. Because if you notice, why didn't they go liberate Africa? And especially when the Rwandans were getting killed, you didn't see America trying to go in and save people, talking about Operation Rwandan freedom, because they already have the American presence and culture over there. They already have a foothold in there. So now they don't need to care about that. They just need to pump product into there and pump values. The last remaining horizon is the Middle East. And that's why they went over there. And also China, but America's not trying to go up against China because America, no, once again, I told you, what does a bully do? A bully picks on people they know they can win. They're not going against China because China has the arsenal to compete with American war arsenal. They can go tit for tat as far as, military. And so no one likes to get punched in the face, even though if America may know that we'll win, but they don't want to take the casualties. So that's how this imperialist stuff works. That's how the imperialism works today. It's more sophisticated. It's more about, let me spread my values over into another country. It's not about dominating a country with war. And if you do dominate a country with war, what you do is you slap a face on it, like Operation Iraqi Freedom, or you try to accuse that country of having, weapons of mass destruction, as if America doesn't have over 3,000 nuclear warheads, as America doesn't have weapons of mass destruction. You all have to think about these type of things. So once again, this is the Political Brown Kid. Just wanted to drop this knowledge on you guys. I'm out of here.